The Los Angeles Lakers proved they can win without their biggest star on Sunday afternoon at Crypto.com Arena, defeating the New York Knicks by a score of 110-97. The victory was a statement performance from a team that has been navigating injury challenges late in the regular season, and it came on a day when the crowd inside the building was packed with celebrities and fans eager to see one of the most anticipated matchups of the week. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. LeBron James was ruled out before tip-off due to a left elbow injury he sustained earlier in the week, and his absence created an opportunity for his teammates to step up. That is exactly what happened, led by Luka Dončić and Austin Reeves, who combined to put on an impressive offensive show from start to finish. The game started slowly for both teams from an offensive standpoint, but it was the Lakers who got on the board first with some energy and purpose. Austin Reeves, who had been criticized in recent games for playing passively and without aggression, came out with a different attitude from the opening minutes. He drew a foul on a three-point attempt, then knocked down a triple on the next possession to set the tone for what would be a strong performance. Reeves' willingness to attack the basket and shoot with confidence was a key factor throughout the contest. DeAndre Ayton also made his presence felt early in the first quarter, blocking a pair of shots on the defensive end to disrupt New York's offensive rhythm. He then caught a lob pass from Luka Dončić and finished at the rim to put Los Angeles ahead by 7 points, giving the team early momentum and establishing control of the paint. The connection between Dončić and Ayton was on full display throughout the first half, with the center benefiting from the playmaking ability of his star point guard. The officiating created some early controversy for the Lakers when Jackson Hayes was called for an offensive foul at the same moment that Luke Kennard was converting a three-pointer. Hayes then picked up a technical foul, which swung momentum toward New York and gave the Knicks a chance to respond. They did exactly that, connecting on a three of their own to trim what had been a growing deficit. That sequence was a brief setback, but the Lakers maintained their composure and closed out the first quarter leading 31-23. Kennard capped the period with a corner three-pointer to provide some breathing room. Rui Hachimura started in place of LeBron James and contributed effectively in the early going, connecting on his second three-pointer of the game and joining Dončić in double figures before the midpoint of the second quarter. A layup by Reeves shortly after extended the Lakers' lead to double digits once again, showing that Los Angeles had genuine depth beyond their two main stars. However, the second quarter was a mixed bag for the Lakers. Turnovers became a significant problem in the final minutes before halftime, and the Knicks took full advantage by going on a run to cut the deficit to 5 points. Los Angeles went into the locker room holding a 54-49 lead, but the sloppy play with the ball left head coach JJ Redick with plenty to address during the break. The Lakers came out of halftime with renewed focus and determination. Dončić and Reeves both connected on deep three-pointers in the early moments of the third quarter to push the lead back into double digits and set the tone for what became a dominant stretch of basketball. The third quarter was an all-around strong period for Los Angeles, with the defense tightening significantly and Marcus Smart playing a crucial leadership role in organizing the team on that end of the floor. Dončić continued to deliver spectacular moments on offense, hitting a pair of difficult circus shots over defenders that brought the crowd to its feet. By the end of the third quarter, the Lakers had extended their lead to 88-69, and the game appeared well in hand heading into the final 12 minutes. The fourth quarter opened with the Lakers pouring it on further. Luke Kennard completed a 4-point play, and Reeves added another three-pointer to push the advantage to 23 points, essentially putting the result beyond doubt. But the Knicks did not surrender quietly, going on a 12-2 run that briefly made things interesting and prevented a full blowout. A well-timed timeout from the Lakers coaching staff helped settle the team down, and Dončić responded to the pressure by burying a mid-range jumper over two defenders before taking a charge on the defensive end. Those back-to-back plays were the kind of moments that define what Dončić means to this team. From that point on, both teams went cold from the field, and the Lakers were able to run out the clock and secure the convincing victory. With the win, Los Angeles keeps its playoff positioning on track with 3 more home games remaining before the end of their current home stand. The team will host the Minnesota Timberwolves on Tuesday, followed by the Chicago Bulls on Thursday, and then the Denver Nuggets on Saturday. The ability to compete and win without LeBron James available is an encouraging sign for a team with genuine playoff aspirations. LeBron James has been one of the most dominant players in the history of professional basketball, and in his 23rd season in the NBA, the 41-year-old Los Angeles Angeles Lakers forward is still producing at a level that few athletes his age have ever approached. But retirement is coming, even for a player who seems to defy time itself, and James has recently opened up about how he envisions that moment arriving and what it will mean for him when it finally does. In an exclusive interview with the California Post, James shared his thoughts on stepping away from the game that defined his entire adult life. His perspective was thoughtful and deeply personal, drawing on the kind of reflection that comes from someone who has spent decades at the top of his profession and understands exactly what he has given to the sport. James described his eventual retirement not as a moment of sadness or loss, but rather as a celebration of everything he has accomplished and everything the game has given him and his family. He compared the feeling to attending a celebration of life after losing a loved one, where the focus shifts away from grief and toward gratitude and appreciation for the time shared. That framing captured something genuine about how James thinks about his relationship with basketball, treating it not as just a career, but as a lifelong partnership built on dedication and mutual respect. One of the themes James returned to repeatedly was the idea that he never cheated the game. Throughout his career, critics and analysts have marveled at his longevity, often asking how it was possible for a player to remain at an elite level for more than 2 decades in a sport as physically demanding as professional basketball. James believes the answer lies in his commitment to preparation, recovery, and professionalism. He showed up every day, put in the work on and off the court, and never took the sport for granted. That discipline, combined with his natural talent, is what allowed him to continue performing at a high level deep into his 40s. During the current 2025-26 season, James is averaging 21.4 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 7.0 assists per game, numbers that would be the envy of almost any player in the league regardless of age. His three-point shooting percentage sits at 31.3% this season, which is down from his historical norms, but he has compensated by leaning more heavily on his post-game and his ability to create easy opportunities in transition. At 41 years old, James remains a freight train in open court, capable of finishing at the rim against younger and more athletic defenders. The broader significance of James's career extends well beyond individual statistics. He has earned 22 All-Star selections and 4 NBA championships across multiple franchises, building a legacy that touches nearly every measurable category in league history. Most recently, James made history by surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most field goals made in NBA history, adding another milestone to a list that already includes the all-time scoring record. This achievement placed James at the very top of 2 all-time scoring categories, a feat that speaks to both his extraordinary efficiency and his unprecedented durability as a professional athlete. When asked what he hopes to feel when he finally walks away from the game, James gave a simple but resonant answer. He said that smiling would be the surest sign that he had gotten everything he possibly could out of his career. That sense of fulfillment, of having maximized every opportunity and honored the talent he was given, is what drives him to keep competing even as his peers from earlier eras of basketball have long since retired and moved on to other chapters of their lives. The question of timing remains open. James has not announced any specific plans for retirement, and given his current level of play, there is no indication that the decision is imminent. Whether he finishes his career with the Lakers or elsewhere has also been a subject of ongoing speculation, with James himself offering few definitive answers on that front. What is clear from his recent comments is that he is approaching the twilight of his career with clarity and peace, unbothered by the weight of legacy, and confident that history will remember him well. For now, James remains focused on helping the Lakers compete this season, even as injuries have kept him sidelined for some recent games. He missed Sunday's game against the New York Knicks due to a left elbow injury, and his teammates stepped up with a convincing 110-97 victory that demonstrated the depth and resilience of the current roster. That kind of performance in his absence speaks volumes about the culture he has helped establish in the locker room. His teammates have shown they are capable of rising to the occasion without him, which is itself a reflection of the winning environment built in Los Angeles under coach JJ Redick. James has always emphasized the importance of making everyone around him better, and the team's ability to compete and win when he is unavailable is proof that his influence extends well beyond his individual contributions on the court. When LeBron James does finally step away from the game, it will be the end of an era unlike anything the NBA has ever seen before, and the basketball world will take a very long time to fully process what his career meant to the sport. While the Los Angeles Lakers were preparing to take on the New York Knicks in a nationally televised Sunday afternoon game, news from around the league brought some encouraging signals for the organization's plans beyond the current season. The team's longtime trade target, New Orleans Pelicans wing Herb Jones, is having a difficult season in terms of production, and according to analysts tracking the situation closely, that decline in performance could actually work in the Lakers' favor when the offseason trade market opens up. The Lakers have been pursuing Jones for an extended period of time, seeing him as the kind of two-way wing player who can defend elite scorers at the point of attack while also contributing on offense from the perimeter. That combination of skills has been a priority for the franchise, which has felt the absence of a reliable defensive stopper on the wing throughout much of the current roster construction. Los Angeles made efforts to acquire Jones at the 2026 trade deadline, but could not reach an agreement with New Orleans on the terms of a deal. Now, with Jones putting up reduced numbers this season, the leverage in any potential trade negotiation shifts somewhat toward the acquiring team. In 42 games for the Pelicans this year, Jones is averaging 8.9 points, 3.6 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and 1.6 steals per game. His shooting numbers are also down across the board compared to his previous season, with splits of 38.3% from the field, 28.9% from 3, and 82% from the free throw line. Those figures represent a notable step back from the level at which he was playing just 2 years ago, when he finished 5th in Defensive Player of the Year voting and earned a spot on the All-Defensive First Team while shooting 40% from beyond the arc. Basketball analyst Chris Lambert, writing for LakeshowLife.com, argued that the combination of Jones's declining statistics and rising competition within the Pelicans' rotation makes it more likely that New Orleans would be open to parting with him this summer at a reduced asking price. Lambert pointed specifically to the improved play of Saddiq Bey as a factor that could push the Pelicans to reconsider their options with Jones. If New Orleans believes Bey can fill a similar role going forward, the door opens for the Lakers to revisit their pursuit of Jones with a more favorable set of circumstances than existed at the trade deadline. The financial side of the equation also works in Los Angeles' favor. Jones signed a 3-year contract extension worth approximately $67.5 million, but that deal does not kick in until the 2027-28 season. In the meantime, he is earning around $14 million annually, a figure that is manageable for a team with the cap flexibility the Lakers are expected to have heading into the offseason. That combination of a reasonable salary and a declining trade value could make this summer the most realistic window yet for Los Angeles to finally land the player they have been targeting for years. NBA insiders Brett Siegel and Kevin O'Connor had both reported before the trade deadline that there was genuine mutual interest between the Lakers and Jones, though the deal ultimately fell through. The expectation within league circles is that Los Angeles will revisit the possibility this summer, armed with more cap space and potentially facing a New Orleans team more willing to negotiate than it was during the season. The Lakers front office, led by general manager Rob Pelinka, has been consistent in its belief that adding an elite perimeter defender is the most important priority for the roster going forward. Building around Luka Dončić and Austin Reeves requires complementary pieces who can guard opposing wings without being a liability on that end, and Jones has historically been one of the best players in the league at exactly that role. The fact that his market value appears to be dropping makes the pursuit even more logical for a franchise that does not have an abundance of tradable assets to offer in a blockbuster deal. As for the immediate game against the Knicks on Sunday, the injury report carried important developments. LeBron James was listed as questionable heading into the contest due to a left elbow injury he suffered during a game against the Denver Nuggets on Thursday, the same night he broke the all-time NBA field goals made record. He had already missed Friday's game against the Indiana Pacers and ultimately sat out against New York as well. Maxi Kleber, dealing with a back issue, was also listed as questionable and missed his 3rd consecutive game. Center DeAndre Ayton, who had left the Pacers game with a minor knee concern, was cleared from the injury report and available to play. Bronny James and Ado Thiero were both ruled out. On the Knicks side, Miles McBride remained out as he continues recovering from core muscle surgery, while Landry Shamet was questionable with a neck strain. Despite the injury challenges, the Lakers delivered a strong showing, with Luka Dončić and Austin Reeves leading the way to a comfortable victory that kept the team's momentum intact heading into the final stretch of the regular season.